the cut.
We definitely
The
are.
final word.
Yeah. The final word.
You know it's so dope. Just watching
The final word.
everybody
The final
have
word.
excellent chemistry. You know,
Word.
that's cool to see.
That took.
The final
Squeezing
word.
that final word out.
He said the final word.
It'd be funny as hell. People call in, yeah, man, I like that show. The last word. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Wait a minute, hold on. The final word.
Be like,
He said the final word.
Man, I don't know. I can't get over the fact that we legit could have a crazy network, man. From like early morning, late at night, 24/7 Dallas Cowboys. That's just dope.
Okay, the final word.
yeah, we're
My Cowboys family come on like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Right.
For years.
All right, for 100 years. For 100 years.
That's just dope, though.
That's dope.
On the
Then you
clock.
come on early in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
The final word.
And it's quality. And that's the thing. It's quality.
Right. Yeah.
The final word.
Yeah, man.
No
and I'm so
bullshit
glad.
coming down here.
I'm so glad. also
Number 2
today
pencil.
We talked about the linebackers, so that's the one topic we didn't get to yesterday.
Uh-oh. Well,
Linebackers,
guess
that's
what?
perfect. I was talking about them today.
Yeah, that's
There it
I
is.
said it was perfect. That's all. Yeah, it's gonna be perfect.
I love it.
We got something else to talk about, man.
Oh no, no we
Oh,
don't.
man.
No we don't.
Yeah, we
No
do.
we
No,
don't.
no, we don't.
It's all fake
He said,
news.
no, we
It's
don't.
phony
No,
stuff.
no, we don't.
It didn't
He
happen.
said, no,
Tuck
we
dropped something
don't.
about left tackle.
Oh, my God. Oh, no,
We
please.
gonna
It's
make
all
a
fake
bunch of
news.
wild real
It's
quick.
phony stuff.
No, please.
It didn't happen.
No.
Best left tackle.
Ah, look.
Oh, Tuck, we not doing it. We not doing it, Tuck. We not doing it. Tuck. Oh God, Tuck.
The final word. Tuck said, get off of me.
Tuck said, I got something to say about that. Tuck. I
He said, I talked to my coach.
I had to go to Facebook on it real quick, man. They know.
I talked to my coach.
The final word. He bought current receipts too. Coach was like, yeah, man, it was good, The man. final
Please,
word.
Tuck, don't show those receipts. Please, don't show those.
I got receipts for my quarterback, man. Got all-state linebackers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Tuck had me going into my mental. Pulling
Yeah.
out my starter jacket,
Look,
man.
Tuck had everybody going in this stuff. Let me pull out my bag. He made me think when I was at work, like, damn.
The final word.
The
Yeah, Lau
final
showed
word.
himself. Look, he looked like he was
The final word.
28 when he was
The final
17.
The final word.
Yes, indeed,
Yeah,
man.
Law
That
had on-
1998,
Law
baby,
had-
state champs.
Law had on 30 wristbands. You know what I'm saying? 30 wristbands, off sleeve.
My bro used to
They
be
said, Law,
like
you
that,
like Mo Claiborne on that one.
Oh, hey, they ain't lying, dog. Whoever called you Mo Claiborne got you perfect on that one, dog.
Maybe I just wanna run it up. Can we check or something? I've been really in the field, let up, yeah.
Skywalker Steele.
I've been really in the field, I wish I love the field. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no days, I make the deal. Have to take it to
And if it was up to me, if it was up to little old me to make a pick, it would probably go a little something like this. And with the 17th pick of the 2020 Dallas Cowboys NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select CeeDee Lamb. Oh!
The funny thing about that, right? I was on Skywalker Steele, before I even dropped that video talking about how I wanted CeeDee Lamb. And everybody was like, man, we don't need these guys more, but man,
I will move down.
The smart thing would be to move down, but the Cowboys historically don't.
Boss could be a trade down here with Justin.
This is just funny. I said, oh my God.
We got to trade. We got to trade. We got to trade.
This was
I said it's the
legendary.
place to move
We were
down.
just here talking Justin Fields.
I said it loud and clear. This is the place to move down.
Go hard, go home, go hard,
We was on
go
one
home,
that
go hard,
I lost
go
my mind when they picked Michael.
go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end
Nah,
zone.
that day was crazy, man. We couldn't even hear it. Like, people had no idea what we had to go through that day. Like, that, we made it look easy. It was not easy.
No, it wasn't.
Parsons as a rush defensive end, right? If you draft him and you put him on the end, turn him into another DeMarcus Ware. Let him rush the quarterback, get upfield, and create damage to the other opposing offense.
We got the
look,
pick.
man, here it is.
We got the pick.
Yeah, this got to be Parsons. Like, Parsons the best player available.
Go home.
Yeah, we couldn't even hear each other. Like, that's what people need to know. Is like, I had to like get context clues of what Scott could be saying and talk about it.
Yeah, once they made the pick,
Oh yeah, it was easy then.
it was over.
But going to the pick, ooh.
I love the pick. I love the player. I know that a lot of people will say that this is probably a reach. This is about where I had Jake Ferguson. Really solid player from Wisconsin. He can do all of it. He can block. He can run routes. He can actually make people miss in the open field.
Have a race car like a Atari, now called filling up. I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Do me wrong, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, go home, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go home.
All right, man. So we gonna start off real easy, real light, and we gonna start with you, Scott. Is this the best Dallas Cowboys team since the Super Bowls of the 90s?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say this is the best. Yes, it's tough because we've seen the results of teams like 2014, 2017, right?
Right.
I would say this, man. This is 100% the best defense for sure. But what makes this, I think, a little bit closer to the question that you're saying is Coach McCarthy in that offense, right? If Coach McCarthy can take this offense to the next level, why not? I think this is the best defense. You got one of the better quarterbacks. You got a good receiving core. Offensive line's a bit shaky, but they'll figure that thing out, I think. So I think it'll come down to if McCarthy can, from a play calling standpoint, put it all together. If so, why not? Why not us? I'm going to say that.
But boy, let me say this right quick.
You had to jump in on that one, huh?
I got to jump in, man. 07. I think the 07 will win by a touchdown, though.
Whoa!
You know, I think 07 will win.
The 07 team was nice.
You been objective on this law.
I'm just saying, man, 07 will with the proper coaching, I think that was the team. 07. 07 Cowboys.
I like that. You threw a nice
They win by
curveball.
two. They
I
win
wasn't
by
expecting
1-2.
no curveballs. I should have known better.
You gonna get another curveball from me?
Uh-oh. Let's get it.
I mean,
where that damn button?
Exactly.
Come on, baby.
He got the long one, too. Shit, I'm gonna hit your button, too.
Hey, I love being a Cowboy.
You better kill it now. We done
Big
hit
game changer.
Hey, let's have some fun. Let's have a good time, man. Let's kick it.
Let's go. It's on you. What's up,
Hey,
Aisha?
well, see, all I can say is this. It looks good, but we haven't played the game yet, so we can't say is this one of the best teams. Come on, you can't say this is one of the best teams because we haven't seen this team played yet. This is team. We ain't paper champions, right? We can't call them that. We look great on paper, but like you said, we still need to see this off. This is still bringing in a new. Even though Schottenheimer was here last year, it's still a new kind of base. It's a really. See, really? That's how we gonna do it. That's how we gonna do it. That's how we gonna do
You
it.
messing up the twerk show. You guys messing up the twerk show right now. You are messing up the twerk show. It's a twerk show going on in the back. We can't even enjoy it because you just dog right now. It's a twerk show going on. We can't even enjoy it right now.
I was saying I like the Kool-Aid, but now see that's how you do me. Okay.
Hey yo.
No, you keep it real. You keep it real, dog. You know I'm gonna give you a little bit of hard time. You my dog. You already know, bro. I mean, because I wouldn't be being me.
And because think about it, you just said, boss. The last 2 shows when we had Clarence here on, when you had a couple of the other insiders on, you said you had 2 concerns: offensive line and running back. Yeah. And that's on the offense. We know what the defense is, just like Sky alluded to. We know about the defense, how good we feel about that. But that offense still is a question mark because we still have places, moving parts that we still need to figure out with the line, receiver in the depth, and especially at the running back position. That needs to still be settled because I don't think that still is as of right now.
Tuck.
Yeah, even though I love a good twerk show. I'm not trying to mess up the twerk show, man. But
Let's go, Tuck.
I don't know,
Take
man. I mean, I think we're good on paper, right? But I feel like, honestly, just like with Big Game James said, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to our offense. We had a great defense last year; it didn't work out for us. So, with the change of the offensive line, we still got some question marks at the tight end position, whether we know so or not. Running back's still a thing. Even with the wide receiver core, right? Because we're one hamstringer away to kind of being kind of mediocre again. So I would say no as far as right now, but I'm excited about this team because I feel like we add in the coaching of Mike McCarthy finally getting control of the offense. Also, Dan Quinn having full control and having an identity. And then Dak Prescott, I feel is going to take another step forward. I feel like we're going to build off of what we did last year, but we still are improving. So I'm not really going to say this is the best team since the 90s. Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the best coaching staff we've seen since the 90s. McCarthy, former Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl winning head coach. You got Dan Quinn, also went to the Super Bowl. We know what Dan Quinn is as a coordinator himself. And then Bones Fossil, still one of the best special teams coordinators in the league. And I think we'd all take this staff over the Jason Garrett, Rob Marinelli, and whomever it was at special team. We take all of those staffs against this, and we'll take this one against those. So I think that I can say confidently for sure.
Yes, indeed. And to echo off of that, Sky, when I said the 2007 Dallas Cowboys, yes, this staff coaching wise is a whole lot better. And far as weapon wise of what we were able to see in 2007, I think Greg Ellis had like 15. No, he had 13 sacks off the edge, and I think that even DeMarcus Ware had 14 sacks in that year. So I think that we can get that type of production or even better with Michael Parsons. And Parsons can give you 20. And if Sam Williams turned this corner around, if he can give you double-digit sacks, it can be wonderful for us.
All right,
But how would y'all stack this complete roster versus our 2021 team?
Hold on real quick. Just real quick.
It's a big thing for Boss Cowboy to actually say publicly that he drunk Kool-Aid. Listen, I do not drink Kool-Aid without first measuring.
Boss feeling it. He feeling this one.
Are you?
He feeling the damn sack record.
Tripping
on everything. Dre drunk on Kool-Aid.
The heart that I'm not hearing from this group right now.
What
I'm calling everyone.
Cut it out.
Every one of y'all. I'm calling every one of y'all out.
Yeah, thank you. Play
this is absolutely the best team since the 90s. This is absolutely the best team since the 90s. Maybe 2007 might give them a run. I jump with you on that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, 2007 to give them a run. But this team is more than paper. We brought the same boys back that just went 12-5.
That's fair.
We just fixed corner 2. We strengthened corner 3. We got rid of them old weak receiver by committee boys Noah Brown, right? And we added a bona fide dog at the number 2 who used to be a former number 1.
Defense, no question.
But you haven't seen it though, boss.
Yeah,
I
It
saw
sounds
it.
good, but you ain't seen
I
it.
did see it.
No, you did not. You ain't
just
seen
said.
Brandon Cooks with us. Have you seen
Yeah,
Brandon
you-
Cooks with us yet?
Right.
No, I don't
Yes or
gotta see him with us. I
Yes,
saw
you
him
do.
with the
Don't do that.
Texans.
Don't
No, I
do
saw
that.
him with the Texans.
yeah.
That's good
I'm
enough.
feeling what you
Yeah.
said.
If
Don't
you
do
ball
that.
with the Texans, you go ball. as
We
our number
know
2.
that. We know that. But
So-
we're
so
talking
can you
about
say
still
this
the.
team- Can you say this team is better than 2021 team?
Yes.
How?
I think
This
so.
team is better than the 21 team. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
How?
Because we got that defense in 21 was full of rookies that was stars. Those same balls are going into year 3 now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you got Micah playing for a contract right now. Plus, like I said before, you got a number 2 corner that you didn't have on that team. You also got a Cook that can kind of neutralize Amari Cooper, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously,
I think
The
you're
Amari-
run
comparable.
game. The
They
run
very
game,
comparable.
though.
And I
you
would
had
say,
think
some
it's-
years-
yeah,
the
you
run-
had
the
some
run game was
DTs.
better.
You
Don't
had-
you got
Boss,
some
Offensive
DTs?
line was better. Offensive line was better in 2021.
Well,
And
talk.
you-
Remember,
and
no,
Zeke
20
was
was
2
still
years.
finding that off. Well, remember in 2021, Collins was in and out of that lineup. Connor
right.
Williams, we were questioning Connor Williams a whole lot. You know, Biotis was still figuring things out, still got better and whatnot. But I think the lines were actually kind of comparable. I don't know if one or the other was that greater. I think the receiving core is comparable, though. I think Cooks is absolutely going to come in here and be an impact player. I said this before. I'll make the bold statement. I think Cooks is going to have the same impact that Amari Cooper had.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
I agree.
So I don't think you're really missing nothing there. And honestly, CD Lamb is better now than CD Lamb was then. So your top 2 might be better. Not knocking Coop, just the fact that Lamb was there. So I don't really worry about the receivers, but I'll give you the line. There's questions. Is the depth is questions there? We don't know. The running back situation is not as technically deep as it was in 2021, but I do think from an explosive standpoint with Tony Pollard, you will get a little bit more punch early on, but we don't know what's behind him just yet.
Yeah,
I thought
and
this
if well, I'm gonna say if we can get this production from our 4th wide receiver like we did in 2021, I think it was 600 yards for Cedric Wilson, 6 touchdowns, passer rating when targeted was right at 122-ish from Dak Prescott to Cedric Wilson. If we can get that from Jalen Tolbert, it will be lights out for us for the 2023 season. That's all we asking for. 600 some yards, a couple touchdowns, and shoot, we in there.
Real quick, we got Brother Vach in the building.
Shouts out to
Man.
Watch when we get back to the offensive
Little
line
big bro.
talk, man.
He on the O-line talk.
Hey, we dropped the ball.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I re-listened to the show.
Hey, bro,
I
come
listened
on
to the
now,
show.
dog.
Oh, bro, we dropped the big old ball.
Come
Man,
on.
I ain't hear till the second time when I heard it. I say, man, I got some more film. And I didn't even hear it till I listened to it the second time. So, you know, that boy came to work, man. Shout out to Vosh, man. And yes, indeed, man, Sky is
Always.
definitely one of the best in the business all day, or the best.
I'm amongst some of the best in the business,
all day
period.
long. Yes, indeed. All right, so now, Tuck, did you have something else on that?
Nah, I was saying I just think that 2021, and I feel like it's just because we haven't seen it yet, right? You know what I'm saying? I feel like when it comes to this year's teams, like we don't know how Brandon Cooks, we hope it's going to work out. We don't know how the Jake Fergusons and Luke Schoonmakers and Tony Pollard being the pride, like, so we don't know. So it's hard for me to say yes, but I'm just going off of paper, just how our defense is constructed with the Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. You know what I'm saying? It feels better, especially with our safeties. But I don't know. I can't.
And the DTs.
Defensive tackles, right? Because we, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams over Randy Gregory and those guys. But
Hankins, we didn't have
Hankins and Mozzie. Oh, we had Brent Urban who got hurt, and then we were trying with Neville Gallimore and Osa Digizua, rookie. No, it just didn't work out no way.
And let's not forget about the Monte
Boss trying to put that evil on us, that Ricky Bobby evil on us, man. I'm not trying to go in and feel like, oh, it's the best team we done had since the Super. Like, no, I'm not going there.
So you being superstitious? I understand, and ain't no wrong
you
with
going
that.
in like that.
Yeah,
I ain't going in like that.
I feel like it's not even paper though. Ain't nobody right, nobody wrong on this. This is just something we want. Right. I thought we was gonna all agree, but I should have known better. I should have known better. All right, so let's go. Here we go. All right, so is CeeDee Lamb getting the bag? All right, so stuff been coming out from John Machota, and then obviously I looked into the background. So I'm gonna play what happened, and then we go kind of talk about it real quick. So here we go.
What's the latest on CeeDee Lamb and these contract negotiations?
I don't know of any movement. I wrote recently just.
See, that's all I needed to hear right there. See, that's all I needed to hear right there. You know what I mean? I can keep going. That's all I needed to hear is that was some hold on.
Wee woo.
Here we go. Hold on. Let it play.
Ranking how I would, I think that they need to get done, how that would best work for the Cowboys. Of course, that never goes to plan, and I had CeeDee at number 2 because I don't think there's any way Jerry Jones lets him out, the door. I just don't. And for a receiver who he is a top 10 receiver in the league, I think that for his contract that you almost have to start pretty much at kind of what 4 years, $25 million to $30 million. I think that's where your top receivers are right now. I think there's about 5 or 6 guys that are $24 million and above, and I think that he has to fall in there. I mean, I think A.J. Brown is kind of where it starts. He's 4 for 25, and then it goes up to Tyreek Hill at 30. And really for them, I just think it's in their best interest to get it done as soon as possible and not wait, not only this year, but then into next year, because I just think that the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases, I mean, they're going over 30. It's funny because I see that out there that people see that I said 25 to 30, and they think that's crazy. And I'm just like, this isn't running back. This league pays wide receivers. Kenny Galladay got $18 million a year. I mean, they pay wide receivers. Jerry Jones gave this guy 88. He's not letting CeeDee Lamb walk out the door, and I think to get that deal done, he's going to have to give him at least $25 million a year.
John, we've kicked this around a little bit.
All right. I mean, so now we know that's not coming from the Cowboys. That came from John Machota, who was speculating. But we can talk about it, right? We can spend some time talking about it. Let's go back around the circle. We go start with you, Law.
Well, if it's 24 to 25, that's based off of a 4-year contract. I think the Jones family would like to get cute with this and offer a 5 to 6 year contract for CeeDee Lamb. I'm looking at anything north of what A.J. Brown got, but the Cowboys need to look into this real closely and make sure that they pay CeeDee Lamb before Justin Jefferson. We do have the cash. We do have the funds that's available. I do know that when we had Brian Broaddus on the table over here and found a word, he said that the money is already spent. Well, that money need to be already spent towards CeeDee Lamb, but most importantly, not to switch the conversation over, it need to get paid to Trayvon Diggs. But I'm looking for this team to really go ahead and solidify that CeeDee Lamb's contract and give him that money, 24 to maybe 25 million. I'm agreeing with John Machota, though, with that price point.
I agree with the price point as far as the numbers concerned, but it's a matter of when. And I think, like Law said it, I think that Trayvon Diggs needs to be the priority of getting paid. But also, like the Justin Jefferson deal can come into play. And, as we always say, yesterday's price is not today's price. But I feel like CeeDee is going to get signed. I just don't think that he is the priority. I think that Trayvon Diggs, being one of the top corners in the NFL, and he can actually hit the market next year, or you definitely don't want to franchise tag him next year. I feel like he's the most important piece to get done now. And I feel like we have 3 weeks, y'all, to get Trayvon Diggs done, because if we get to camp and he doesn't have a deal, I don't think the Cowboys are going to get a deal with Trayvon Diggs done throughout the season, and it's going to get ugly next year. So, my prioritize with that money, if it's already spent, it should be spent on Trayvon Diggs, and then maybe circle back around, because they did extend the 5th-year option on CeeDee, but CeeDee's going to get that bag regardless. And then you also got Dak Prescott to think about as well, and also Terrence Steele and a few others. So, but I don't think CeeDee's going to get paid before we get to camp this year.
Well, you just said that you think it's going to get ugly. Well, then it may get ugly, because when we had Clarence Hill on here and we asked him, and I've been asking about Trayvon Diggs, he said franchise tag. He said that's the route that they were already talking about. He came out and said the franchise tag. So it could already get ugly. I've been on record many a time saying that I don't want Trayvon Diggs to be gone, but I feel like he might be the guy that's left out because he's going to command big money. And when I look at the cornerback position at the Dallas Cowboys, I haven't seen them spend a lot of money on the cornerback position. Now, Clarence Hill did say that they haven't had a guy take the ball away because they have Byron Jones, and we love Byron Jones, but he didn't take the ball away. Diggs does, so that's in his favor. But at the same time, he's still going to command a lot of money. There are going to be suitors out on the market, and if Clarence Hill's talking about franchise tag already, then I already feel like there's going to be that little tussle that you're talking about. It could get ugly later on. CD is going to get his money. I definitely feel that. It's just a matter of when, and I feel like the Cowboys are going to do the same thing they always do, is they slow foot, they take their time, and they wait, and then next thing you know, we're going to hear Justin Jefferson just got signed, and then now you're going to start hearing the problems.
Yeah, Diggs doesn't have. I'm sorry, Lamb doesn't have the pressure that Trayvon Diggs does right now in regards to the Cowboys signing somebody. So yeah, I agree. Diggs should probably be the priority if you want to not worry about a franchise tag. But honestly, Lamb should be the priority if you don't want to pay more than what you're going to have to pay after the next 2 seasons. What I mean is that wide receiver market is only going to continue to jump.
Yeah.
Where the cornerback market is kind of plateauing just a little bit. It's not jumping as much. You got the highest right now, like 21 million. Maybe that goes to 22, 23, where that wide receiver market is likely going to hit 35 million, $40 million in the next 2 years. It's probably going to hit that. It's already at 30 right now with Tyreek Hill. Let's just pretend that they decide to do the 5th-year option with CD Lamb. Lamb balls out the next 2 years, right? Now you're going to have to pay CD Lamb 35, 36, 38, $40 million. So they should probably get in front of CD Lamb right now and get it done, get it out the way so that, you know, if you're doing a 4 to 5 year deal, you're paying him in that $26, $27 million range for the next 4 or 5 years and not $35 million. However, the way the Cowboys work, we got the 5th-year option in our back pocket. So we'll go ahead and we'll just string this thing along and we'll see if we can get something done with Trayvon Diggs. But I don't think this needs to be as difficult as we are making it in a way. But the Cowboys, that's why we think of it that way. The Cowboys make these things difficult.
He ain't lying.
It's good, OC.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing today?
Doing well, man. Fantastic, brother.
L Cool J is all right. He's sleep. He came in all silent. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
Because you too cool right now.
Been in the doctor's office, man.
Right, he in the doctor. He's on the part-time, dog.
Man, look, I'm taking care of some work responsibilities, man, that ran way over. So I'll just leave it at that. But you guys are talking about CeeDee Lamb and the whole a hodgepodge of how the Cowboys will want to deal with him. I think the Cowboys will string this thing out with CeeDee Lamb as long as they possibly can. You know, AKA what Steele just mentioned, the 5th-year option. They are not in a rush to pay $100 million to anybody. The person that they're going to be forced to do it to, you know, regardless if they want to or not, is Micah Parsons. But other than that, in my estimation, they're going to string this thing out as long as possible. Do they eventually pay him? Yeah, they eventually pay him. The market is going up. I mean, he's going to be $22 million plus by the time they pay him. I think they're going to try to make his money long and give him a long contract to try to spread out that cap hit. But otherwise, besides Micah Parsons, I think that they will pay him with the least amount of resistance, bearing injury this year. But CeeDee Lamb, they're going to try to string that thing out as long as they can. That's my opinion.
I actually look at this as good news. Because when I first heard this, right, you start hearing stuff early, like they're going to pay CeeDee Lamb. And then you start hearing that they was looking at a range between 25 and 30. So the first thing I'm going to always do is go look at the current market. And when you look at the current market, it's going to be more, to be honest, than 25 or 30. John Machota is honestly not even high enough, because the way that the market works is you always go surpass the previous person. And the receiver talent is too close for any of them to argue with each other, for real. So I was concerned that the Cowboys was leaking this, you know. I was concerned but to find out that it was John just basically speculating lets me know that the Cowboys are continuing to move in silence. And that's a very good thing, especially when we consider what usually happens, where they use the media to kind of negotiate through the public. That has not happened at all with any other guys. So I'm still seeing an improvement from our front office, at least from the public knowledge standpoint. So, so one thing I want to get into definitely is we didn't get into this yesterday, and I wanted to get into this. I'm so glad Scott talked about this. I'm suspecting that somewhere we go get our heart broke at linebacker in a good way. I think the room is so talented, right? I think it's so much quality youth that somebody is going to get away. I'm going to just start off and just basically say I think one of the top sleepers right now is Delvin Harper. I think he is one of the guys, because obviously Clark, you know, I'm high on him, but I think Harper is that person that people need to keep their eye on. I also think this is going to happen. I honestly believe that LV is going to get injured. I don't think he's built for middle linebacker. I think and I'm not wishing it on.
I mean, hey, the data says he's going to get injured.
Right. I'm not wishing it on him. He's on a faster injury projection than Sean Lee was. And when did he get injured last year? When you really think about it, when Clark came back and Clark was pushing him, because what was LV doing before Clark came? He was being a catcher. He was being safe, but he had to go put his head in there. He had to start really, you know what I mean, going at it, because it was an angry dog behind him that was obviously hungry. And you can't avoid that dog now because he's starting off the season. So I just don't think that he's built for it. I think if he was the weak side linebacker, he would get through the season. But every time they try him in middle, it ain't gonna work. So this is what I personally, honestly believe. I hope he stays and don't get injured, but I think we're getting ready to see Romo and Dak all over again. And Devin Harper or Clark or somebody is going to be Dak to Romo.
No, I mean, that's an interesting point. I didn't think of it to go that far, but yeah, you know, LVE 3 out of the last 4 years has missed at least 3 games. So we can pretty much knock that down, right? Like he's going to miss at least 2 or 3 games this season. And if somebody steps up in this place, then they may not have to return to him. The problem is though, boss, last year, nobody did that. As much as we like to get on LVE, when he was out there, it helped a guy like Damone Clark because he was a young guy trying to still figure it out. So you kind of seen him play that quarterback role at the second level, and they love him down there. They absolutely love LVE in that room. Dan Quinn loves him, so he'd have to drop the ball essentially, right? Or your boy Devin Harper would have to go scorched earth Dak Prescott when he's out. It's gonna have to happen.
Yeah, I'm a bounce off that one with Sky. But you know, we talked about this even with the draft that, you know, Demarion Overshown was going to be a future. But now that I look at it, man, I think, you know, Dan Quinn really likes what he can do. Now, the only thing with him was he had a high missed tackle rate. That's something that he's going to have to get together.
Yes.
But the thing that he really brings is that it's so tantalizing that you can move him around. He's like a hit stick. He's a lightning ball, and he is full of energy. And that's what Dan Quinn likes. So if we're talking about that linebacker room, I thought he was more future. I'm starting to change my tune a little bit, and I think Dan Quinn got a little plan for him, and you're going to start seeing surprise little plays for him jumping in there in the game. You'll see Demarion Overshown, and if he comes in, because you all saw them, he's seeking missile blitzes he had in college. He comes in and getting them few surprise sacks. He's going to get a little bit more tick as it goes and goes. So that's the guy that I'm keeping my eye on now. More, I thought future, but I'm keeping my eye on him now.
No doubt. And
Overshown got some pass rush moves as well. He was working on some of that in the Senior Bowl. I saw him being able to bend and get off the edge there. I would say this, competition is competition. I look at Damone Clark as being a guy that can lead the team in tackles this year. When you look back at his college career, I think he led his conference in total tackles. Now he had about 15 to 16 tackles for loss. I look at those things as like sacks or what have you. So if Damone Clark can pick up the system even more going into his second year, around this time last year, he wasn't in nobody's training camp. He was still recovering from his surgery. So now he's going to be a tick faster. He's going to be a tick up on all of his reps and everything. So I'm looking at Damone Clark to be that staple piece for this linebacking core. Now, the other two guys that need to bring it to the table is Harper as well as my guy Jabril Cox. If those two can step up, good shoe. I can foresee Damone Clark being our Mike. Harper and Cox can fight out on the opposite sides of corn there. This linebacking core, just by that upgrade, is even faster, making the defense faster. And if you add in what we brought in with Mozzie as well as Jonathan Hankins, this linebacking core gonna fly, baby. It's gonna fly.
Yeah, they can. Oh, go ahead. See, my bad.
No, you good, man. I think that I actually go ahead.
Got him.
All right.
Wi-Fi monster got him.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go on the screen.
that monster got you, dog.
Okay,
there you go.
Never mind. I'm back. So look, I actually disagree. I think LVE actually is going to play pretty well because I think he's fighting for his NFL career life. I just think that athletically, as Damone Clark gets going and some of these other guys get going, that they're going to overshadow him just because of their overall athleticism. But I think that actually he's going to come out and play pretty well, at least initially. I can't go against the argument that he's probably going to get hurt or maybe miss some time. I can't go against that. But I think that he's out here fighting for his life, and I think he's hyper motivated by all of the competition. And I think that's actually going to get the best out of LVE, and I think that's going to be really good for the Cowboys, at least the first half of the season, in my opinion.
I think you're right there. I think a lot of us should agree that LVE will play better, especially with Hankins being involved and Mozzie Smith being involved early in the year. When we saw the best LVE is the clean LVE. We all know that. Keep him clean, allow him to see the gap, shoot the gap, or maybe hit the edges without any traffic to deal with that much. And we think that he'll be all right? But last year it wasn't the case. Early on in the season, he was a bit hesitant and whatnot. But like you said, OC, the injuries. Can we count on him to be available? Probably not for 17 games. So we got to expect him to go down, and can somebody step up? I'll say this, fellas. If LVE and Damone Clark stay healthy, you're fine at linebacker. But it's mostly about if an injury happens, do you trust the depth?
Right. I'm gonna spin this a little bit too. Just a little bit. We still on linebacker, but this is why I was so glad that you did a show today on the linebacker room, Sky. Because there's an obvious battle of big nickel as well. An obvious battle, right? In my opinion, it might not be obvious, but it's obvious to me. Especially when you go out there and you target Overshown, right? While having a Jabril Cox, who mostly played big nickel while he was at LSU. I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that Jabril Cox has been out of position since he's gotten here. I actually talked to Jabril Cox, and he lit up, and I tested him. I real life tested him. I went right over to him. I said, hey, they got you out of position. That's the first thing I said. Law was right there. I said, they got you out of position.
Yeah.
It did, and I said, man, you should be playing that big nickel. And he lit up. He said, man, that's what I'm saying. Didn't it, Law? Didn't it?
Yeah.
So,
that's exactly what he said.
So, I will, and then obviously when you're talking big nickel, you also thinking curse. You even thinking splash sometimes Donovan Wilson. That's why I'm honestly anticipating somebody go get their heart broke. Because, see, both of them are good players. Both of them have a good fan base between the two. Both of them are opposite to me. I'm going to describe them, and then I'm going to go around the circle, and we can kind of talk about this big nickel thing. Or however you want to categorize them. But
so
I see Cox as way better as a coverage linebacker than Overshown. But I see Overshown as a way better tackler. It's like trying to get that hybrid.
No, he ain't a better tackler, dog. No, his missed tackle rate was through the roof.
He's got to improve.
He's
more
hitter,
physical.
Yeah,
he's a hitter. That's a great point.
He's that blow you up but don't wrap you up.
More aggressive.
Yeah, boss. He's way more.
He'll blow you up, but he don't wrap you up.
Yeah. So more aggressive, more physical, but not as coverage as Cox. So like trying to get, and thank y'all for correcting me on that. But trying to get this hybrid right, I just want to kind of go around and kind of look at it, because I'm thinking the Cowboys could be thinking that this is Kurt's final year, and they trying to get their next guy ready. So I just want to kind of talk about the broken heart at linebacker that's likely coming somewhere, and this battle for big nickel. So I'm gonna start with you, Sky, because you dealt with linebacker heavy today.
Yeah. It's been a battle about, for the last 2 or 3 years now for Jabril Cox amongst the fan base, whether he be in big nickel. I love you use the term big nickel as opposed to safety, right? Because I think one of the things we have to understand at the safety position that Dan Quinn does is he utilizes those guys deep as well. When you look at Donovan Wilson, a lot of people think, he's just a guy in the box. He actually played the second most snaps at free safety on the team. So I personally believe he's underrated from a versatility standpoint, because he can blitz, he can rush the passer, he can play the run, he can drop back, he can spy. He's just as versatile as anybody on this defense, not named Michael Parsons. So, when it comes to big nickel, I think you're more so talking about a guy who has the size to be able to handle the run, but can cover these tight ends or some of these running backs out the backfield, or maybe a big slot or something like that from time to time. In that instance, Jabril Cox fits that big nickel mold. But you're talking about a team that plays mostly nickel in general anyway. Yeah. So you're looking at
two corners. I'm sorry.
So you're looking at two linebackers and the three safeties. Or sometimes they'll come in dime. They played more dime than any team last year, or just about any team last year. So you're talking about now one linebacker and 6 DBs. So who's the guy that can do some of those DB things that they want to shore themselves up against the run? That's tricky, bro. I don't have the answer. I don't got the answer for you, Sway, because we haven't seen Demo yet. We know his struggles with tackling in college, and then Jabril Cox, he's shown flashes right in preseason and early on in his rookie year, but those injuries, man. So this is a fantastic, discussion, because it's really a big question mark at big nickel for the future, for real.
It is. It's very much.
And here's what I'll say. It'll be something we definitely got to keep our eye on at camp, because also you got to factor in those FAMU boys in the mix as big nickel as well.
Yes.
Because about Isaiah Land. He's been playing with the linebackers as well. And you also have Marquise Bell. So it's going to be an open competition. And then it's like, I know that you mentioned about, Cox as far as coverage is concerned, boss, but it's like, is he that same player out of LSU post injury? And I feel like that was the kind of thing we saw last year. He just wasn't. So, I feel like Overshown eventually is going to get the number one opportunities, because he's kind of the fresher draft pick. He's going to get the opportunities, probably going to be his spot to lose. But, Jabril Cox might be one of those guys where we're sitting back and saying, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because there's an opportunity. Like you mentioned Harper. There's also, we got, Cox will be out there, not Cox, but Clark as well. Like I said, those FAMU boys, they come into play. Isaiah Land can get pressure off the edge.
Isaiah Land, right.
And then you got Marquise Bell in his second year, who was a safety kind of hybrid as well. So,
old boy out of Mississippi State.
That's the sleeper. Bell's a sleeper for big nickel.
And Bill.
Yeah, and they're very high on Marquise Bell. I'm hearing a lot of things about him in house. So, Jabril Cox he's going to have to scrap. He's going to have to show that he's fully recovered. He's going to have to show that little glimpse we saw in that Giants game, his rookie season. That's who he really is. But if not, we might be sitting here when we're doing these bubble shows, be like, man, he might be on the bubble a little bit, or might be a special teams guy. So it's going to be a lot of opportunity for these young linebackers. And going back to what Scott mentioned about the LVE situation, when he did the show this morning, LVE is the only veteran linebacker. We got LVE and a bunch of young kids out there. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you won't probably see a Romo situation with LVE if he's hurt, unless it's just something where it's just, you can't deny it. But I feel like LVE is going to be our veteran leader. He's going to be our IQ guy, like it or not, speed or not, athleticism or not. But then eventually you'll start to wean him out. And I think Damone Clark is going to be that guy that's going to wean him out. Not this year, though.
I think LVE overrated. I still think he's overrated. And this is why.
I mean, who rating him high, though, you know?
Yeah,
he's the guy that been on the team.
Too many people rating him too high. And I'm gonna tell you why.
They're doing too much.
I'm gonna make a case just on why. Because he left when Hankins left. He came back when Hankins came back. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though, boss. You don't need him to be. You're trying to pump. In my opinion, I'm not saying you pumping him up, but he don't need no LVE to be great. I mean, we understand what he is now. He plays a role now. I think you got those young guys on the team, and they're going to eventually do their thing. But I like him as a piece. I think he's a good piece in that defense. LVE. I do think he's a good piece in that defense. He's not no superstar or nothing like that. That ship has done sailed now. We know what LVE is now. And just like you said, you had Mozzie, you have Hankins, you still got Bohanna. Now we have more protection. And when he has protection, it's better. And now you have a year two Damone Clark who understands the NFL now, and he's going to be playing faster. So it helps cover LVE. And then I didn't mean to jump in, but just going to the DeMar Overshown thing when you're talking about the big nickel, I agree with you where I think the sun is setting on Curse as far as being here long term. I think they're looking for a replacement now. So I think now that's why they're getting the Overshown. I think that's one of the reasons why he was drafted. And I also, when you talk about Marquise Bell, I think they're going to start looking to the future with those guys. But I feel like Overshown is really going to, because I see a Donovan Wilson in him as far as the way he comes in and tries to light you up. Once he can really get that wrapping up as far as his tackling, I just feel like Dan Quinn secretly has a plan for him, and he's going to be. You see how Bosch talked about yesterday, how they made this defense Teflon for him. They got him all the toys that he wanted. They got him everything he wanted. You feel me? He is really allowed to. You feel me? He is allowed to play really good right now. He's going to have fun, and he's got toys because guess what, fellas? We got depth. And when you got depth that's quality, that you can say, if this guy goes down, we ain't missing a beat. That's a fun thing to play with, and I think that's what Dan Quinn's going to have fun with those Marquise Bells and the Demarion Overshowns of the world, as Law would say.
Yes, indeed. And in order to be the bigger dog, you got to have a lot of bite, right? And you got to be able to make more noise. And J-Rock, in the last 2 seasons, man, I think he only missed 3 tackles, right? 3 or 4 tackles in the last 2 seasons. Now, you get that many missed tackles from my guy Donovan Wilson in a game, right? So, and on top of that, from the other guys, Overshown. Now, if you go back to that reel of Overshown, can you play that reel one more time for me, man?
I'm gonna even put your face on it.
One right here. Whenever you play that linebacker role and you got your face like that one right there, that's what I want my linebacker. You got to make sure that's the ugliest face.
Ugly face.
A face only a mother could love, right? So that's the type of face that I want out there on the team. A face only a mother could love. And if Overshawn can bring that type of tenacity to the table, man, y'all better look out.
You're going to never look at that picture the same now.
Ooh, that boy said only a mother could love.
Yeah, that's a face only a mom can love right there. Y'all know that's the truth. Ain't nobody.
Them is the good players, though. Them is the players, though. Them is the ones.
I tell you what about Overshown, man. One thing that I noticed in doing my research on him is that this kid has a love of the game like a Micah Parsons. So, you know, my thing on Overshown is that he'll figure it out. Whatever they decide to do with him, whether it's will linebacker full time, whether it's kind of a hybrid guy that's a blitzer on the edge, or whether it's big nickel, which I think that should be the one he kind of settles in. I think he'll figure it out. because he was able to come out of high school as an All-American safety, play safety in college at a high level for 2 years at Texas, then convert to linebacker and play at a high level in his final couple seasons. He showed growth at the linebacker spot, switching from safety. That's hard to do playing at a school like Texas, where you're dealing with a whole lot in the passing game, right? So I think Overshown's going to figure it out, and I hope personally that it is the big nickel spot for Jaron Kearse in the future. I think he would handle that very well.
Yeah,
he ain't giving that bone away though.
Big nickel looks real good into the future. OC.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that, if you're looking at Jaron Kearse, man, I think that, he got nicked up a little bit, right, this past season. And I think that he's not a part of the long-term plans, right? He's showing that, he's a little bit tender, a little bit. Like, he's good when he's there, but he's kind of been a little bit not injury prone, but nicked up prone. Let me put it that way. So that will cause him to miss snaps. That will open up the door wide open for Overshown. I think that Jabril Cox is a guy that's going to have to find his way. I think they like him. I think they want to play him, but he's going to have to check the boxes, at least in that defensive coordination room's mind, that he can be the guy that can be consistent, because he is the guy, in my opinion, with the most talent. But can he put it together mentally and prove that he can do it on a consistent basis? That remains to be seen. But yeah, I never thought that Overshown would be a guy that was going to come in here and get a red shirt year. They're not paying him red shirt money. So, I mean, they're going to actually give that man an opportunity to make some plays. And you're going to see this, I think, starting off in the regular season.
My boy with the $50 super chat said, "Boss, we're about to shock the world with everyone we have. Salute to all the nation. One smoke, man. Appreciate that smoke.
Man,
I got
smoke
one for you.
I got one for you. Smoke one for you.
I got one for you. Smoke.
Can I
smoke weed every day?
Boy, smoke show this smoke. Go ahead, Scott.
Big game used to say that all the time. So one thing, I don't mean to put a damper on this situation, but it's something that we actually have to talk about here. I'm starting to liken Dan Quinn to Vic Fangio in the sense that if you take a look at Vic Fangio, he requires highly intelligent or experienced secondary players because his defense is very complex. And with Dan Quinn, I think from just what I'm noticing, he requires these safeties to be able to do a lot, know a lot, and be trusted out there. So, we love all these young players, and you can actually equate this to linebacker too. But we need to make sure these young players gain the trust early, because if they don't, all of that potential in the world might not matter when it comes to big games and big series and big downs with them being out there. I think that's why you see the KZs, the hookers, the Donovan Wilsons get signed back, the Jaron Kearse is still around and get brought in. He kind of needs some guys back there that's been around here and that can understand what he wants to do.
Right. Just think about how many hats that Jaron Kearse wears on our defense.
Right.
From the green dot to playing free sometimes to playing strong. Like, he does a lot of different things. So in order for him to kind of get replaced with one of these younger guys, you got to get that trust. And it's going to take a minute to get that trust. So, yeah, good point, Scott.
All right, so I'm going to swing it again on you.
Love linebacker talk, man. I play linebacker too.
Man, Tuck played every position. Tuck played every position. Tuck is a football player. He played every position. OT, guard, center, tight end, wide receiver, QB. He does it all.
Phony stuff.
Oh, see, they put ATH.
You are fake news.
Athlete.
Athlete, that's right. Athlete. He played every position.
Quarterback, receiver, tight end.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Crazy thing is, I have seen Tuck bring up tight end, linebacker, and tackle though. I've seen him do it over the years.
I did, man. I'm taking my cleats to Oxnard just in case, man.
Just in case, man. Sign him up, coach.
You killed us, man. You killed us yesterday with that.
We need a kicker, though.
Oh my God, that was the one.
We need a kicker. Oh, long snapper.
Got you. What you need?
I want to let every one of y'all know I did play some hellified tackle.
He didn't say like right tackle. He said left tackle.
He said, left tackle, the money tackle.
Blind side.
He didn't even do the money side.
Oh, hell no.
All right, let's go.
Hey, he got the receipts too for those who out there.
I post some receipts, man.
Yeah, we saw the receipts. Them things look like they had some ink on them that didn't.
They fading. The ink is fading.
Yeah, that ink. It looked like a handwritten receipt to me, dog.
He went to the Walmart lady and she said, "I don't think this is on. I don't think left tackle was on this receipt. I don't see left tackle on here."
Wait just 1 minute here. This receipt, security. Security. Come here, we got us a Negro.
Oh my God.
Yo, wow, man.
Oh man, we got us.
It's all fake news.
All right, here we
it's
go.
phony stuff. It didn't happen.
That's my dog, though. That's my dog.
I'll go out there and show you all my kick step, man.
Tuck gonna be out there. Tuck gonna sneak out there on the field. Tuck gonna be out there snuck out on the field. He's like, "Is that Tuck? Hell yeah, he got his leg kicking out." Oh Lord.
Hey, with his number and everything, 75. You know what I'm saying?
101 drills. Let me get a rep,
man.
All
right, here we go.
Oh man.
All right, so it's reports coming out that Dallas is not interested in Zeke, right? So this has a feel of Weevil to me, but it's also because like James,
You want it to be wee woo.
I don't feel like boxing you today. You want to box again, bro? You already lost.
I'm gonna leave. You lost. You lost many a times. Clarence Hill killed you. Everybody done killed you to say this.
Clarence Hill killed? No.
Then he said when
No,
you
he
asked about
didn't.
Zeke, he said no, it's over. It's Jerry just want to talk and keep him in the media.
Let's
no.
talk. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about this then.
That's what he said, didn't he?
I know that's
Yes or
what he
no?
said.
Wow.
And did Gelkin say sometimes the ship has sailed?
No.
Didn't he say that?
You misquoting
Yes, he did.
Gelkin. You misquoting him.
Okay.
You
What he say?
misquoting him. So,
What he say?
see, that's my point. That's my whole point of all of this. That's why I want to talk this through. So, this is the deal. So, first, Jerry said himself that he's interested in Zeke coming back.
Well, it's Jerry.
Then Steven also said it.
I want me some glory.
Michael
Yeah, that's a
Jack-
fake news. Can I get
Listen,
some fake
hold on,
news?
hold on,
That's
real quick.
fake news.
Hear
Play
me
that.
out.
Who gives
Hear me
a
out.
shit?
Just hear me
Play
out.
it.
I know
Fake
you
news.
won't
It never
believe
happened. It's on the wee woo.
Big,
See
this
this
ain't no
number one
wee
bullshit.
Bill
He's on the
Parcells
wee
not
woo,
being
wee
dropped?
woo.
Big.
He's on the
Big.
wee
You
woo,
gotta-
wee woo.
Time out.
Big. You
All right.
gotta
Time out.
stay focused, bro. You losing.
All right,
Boss,
leave it alone.
You said
leave it
Jerry brought it
And
up?
Steven.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good button. That was good. That was great. That was perfect time on that button.
All right, I'm gonna leave you alone, boss.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I'm done.
Let's talk about it.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
All right.
Because the thing is, this whole thing has, all right, so you have Insider James Slater, and this is what she said. When I asked if there would be a situation where they would bring him back, it sounds like the same answer I've gotten from a number of teams. It will basically require an injury to one of their other running backs. As much as I know, a lot of guys in the locker room would love Ezekiel Elliott to come back. There just doesn't seem like there's a lot of smoke here. So Clarence Hill, on the final word, came out and said that he felt that Jerry was using it as publicity, and he used the example of Odell Beckham. But see, Michael Gelkin came out and said the opposite, using the same example. He said basically he knew Odell Beckham was Jerry just kind of playing everybody for, you know, what he does, publicity. He said, but from his back channels, he is getting true interest. So you got one insider saying interest, you got two saying there's nothing there. What's going on?
I can kind of give my opinion on this situation. Yeah. I think Zeke is different from any other free agent for the Cowboys ever because they are familiar with Ezekiel Elliott. So when she says there's no conversations, that might be true because what conversations need to be had? Right. You know the player, You know what he brings. You know how he fits the locker room. So if we're talking about possibly bringing him back, they don't need to have those discussions right now. And for a lot of these veterans, they're not really trying to get signed at this moment. A lot of these veterans ain't even trying to go to training camp, but that's a different discussion. So they can kind of wait this thing out a bit, right? Get to training camp, see the room, and honestly, they might have to play a preseason game because we've all seen training camp practices, right? Running backs are not hitting it. It's thud. It's basically they thudding up, you know. So you really can't gauge too much, but maybe they can gauge if it might be too much for a rookie, or maybe Ronald Jones is not getting it together, or maybe Malik Davis is still being a bit stuck. Whatever it may be, they're going to wait to training camp. And Zeke honestly can wait to training camp. He's not going to get the bag. So it's going to be a matter of where he wants to go. And it's also unique for Zeke. Zeke knows the Cowboys. So he's already working out with them. There doesn't need to be a red carpet rolled out. So I think Jane is probably right, but we won't know how true the reunion may be, if there is a reunion, until we get weeks into training camp, yo.
Love that answer.
Yeah, I think that Zeke is one of those rare commodities, kind of like when Edgerrin James was a free agent, and, you know, hey, later on in his career, man, you know, it was a little bit before he got signed. And I don't think that Ezekiel Elliott's going to get big money. I think that he's probably a 1 year, $4 to $6 million back at best. What maybe like a 2 year that gets him up to like $10 million, something like that. I think that his price goes up though if other teams have interest because they had injuries in training camp and they get close to the regular season, they don't have a go-to back type of situation, then his number could go up with some other teams. I don't think the Cowboys are in a rush to do anything with Ezekiel Elliott, in my opinion. I just think that I got to trust what I've heard and what we've heard here on The Final Word, even talking to Brian Broaddus and hearing tea leaves from other people, that, hey, if he was a priority, like today, he would already be in the building. But the reality is this is just a wait-and-see situation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to disagree with OC on the wait and see because obviously, you know, you have a Deuce Vaughn. You know, Tony Pollard, they say he's on schedule. He's ready to go, but you still want to see that. But I think they're really going to be looking at, I think Sky mentioned the Ronald Jones to see where he's really at. I think he's going to be key. If we really, in my opinion, you signed him to a 1 year deal, I believe. He's going to be key because we don't really know what he is right now. Yeah. We've seen what he was, but we don't know what he is right now. So he's going to be the key. If he comes in and shows juice, then I think they slowly stay away from Ezekiel Elliott. If he struggles, I think it's going to be something that they'll raise their eyebrows and antennas once again. Malik Davis, I think they like him. But as you said so many times before, boss, the short yardage situation, the battering ram, the tough yards, that's what Ezekiel Elliott does bring to the table. But in my opinion, I just feel like, okay, I don't know if he's a guy that still gets you over the hump. I still love Cook. I still feel like you could look at something else. I don't know if he's the piece to get you over the hump, but I'm not going to be mad at the world if they go that route. I just feel like there's other options that you can really pair with Tony Pollard to make this offense even more explosive.
No doubt. When Jerry Jones say things, sometimes you got to listen to what he's saying. You know, he's 80 years of age and he's long in the tooth. That's a long tooth. He can't eat an apple. That tooth gone. And Jerry said this before. He said this before. Herschel Walker, he left to go to Minnesota. One day he'll be back in a Cowboys uniform. Then a couple of years later, Herschel Walker was back in a Cowboys uniform. So I'm old enough to remember that. So the Cowboys do Cowboy things. I like Ezekiel Elliott. He had 12 touchdowns. Only 3 other running backs had more touchdowns than him last season. But it's one of those things whereas the Cowboys got to evaluate what they have now. They got to see what Hunter Luepke can do. They got to see what my guy Deuce Vaughn can do. Rojo, Malik Davis, Rico Didal. You know, they got to see all of those boys and, of course, Tony Pollard. So that's a long list. And if you bring back Zeke now, you would never get a full and a real evaluation of those guys. So that's why it's an wait and see after training camp. I believe that if Ezekiel Elliott not getting signed by one of those guys as a solid, maybe Jerry Jones will bring him back. But outside of that, I don't foresee it.
Let's see. I think Sky hit it dead on the head. I think it's about the timing. Like at this point, it will be irresponsible to bring Zeke back. Like in terms of just this moment, because in terms if you trying to drop all their prices, let them stay out there a little bit longer. Because do y'all remember what happened with Barr? Anthony Barr? Remember what he asked for last year? I worth $10 million.
Yeah.
Big Game James called it too. You called it. You remember he called it?
$10 million.
Yeah.
But then training camp start, and now you looking at a different option. Now you saying I better take something, you know. So that's the leverage that the owners have now, especially with Cook unsigned, you know, because you could say Cook will probably be the person who.
And Kareem Hunt still out there too.
Yeah, so it's guys that was set, can we say, the veteran market that haven't been signed yet. So as long as Cook is not signed, Dallas should chill. But they have to be honest with what they see in preseason. You know, they have to be honest. Don't make the mistake of receiver by committee. Don't make the mistake of James Washington. Don't make the mistake. We knew by the second time we saw him in training camp, we was like, oh,
yeah. Yeah.
See, we don't need to wait like we did, because we waited all the way to James Washington played. Then then we say, oh, he's siren the game. Y'all know he wasn't doing nothing in preseason. You knew it.
Yeah, he wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
He wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
So because
The
Sky,
leg
I heard
got
you say
snapped
this
up.
before, Sky. In training camp, we always make a
and
veteran move. Hold on, OC. In training camp, we always make a veteran move. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, a reason why we make those veteran moves. I think we first see what we got, then we make that move. Because remember, we first signed Kazi, right? With the Achilles. After the first day of practice, they did went and got Malik Hooker for additional insurance. They first went out there and saw what Ball them could do. And when they saw Ball them, they was like, okay, go sign Jason Peters. They first went out there and saw the depth of the linebackers. And when they didn't like what they saw, then they was like, all right, pony up and sign Anthony Barr. Yep. I think that's how they gonna handle this running back, because remember when we had Kyle Yeomans, and he said that he knew for a fact that they was targeting power backs in the draft, you know? So that means they know they have a power back deficit. So, but to me, it's about how they handle it and the timing of it. Did you have something?
See, I like Charbonnet. I wish we would have got Charbonnet though. That's my dude.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, OC.
Go ahead, Tuck. Go ahead. Okay, I'll be real quick. So no, I just
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tuck. Go ahead, bro. I can hold it. Go ahead.
What do y'all go? What do y'all go?
All right, cool. I'll go. Fine. No, so I was just gonna piggyback on what you said, boss, and I was just gonna piggyback on what you said real quick. The only thing that I meant by the wait and see is that the whole linchpin piece, in my opinion, is gonna be how Jones plays at that running back position. Can he run tough inside? I think that obviously, you know, they like the young kid out of North Dakota. You know, they gave him $200,000 guaranteed. They go give him some run, right? But I think that if Ronald Jones does not play well, then I think that Zeke gets in camp sooner rather than later. But if he plays well, then Zeke does it. That's what I think.
That makes sense too. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I feel like the Cowboys have spent a lot of resources at this running back position where a lot of players will have to crap out. Now, me personally, we'll talk about this as we get to camp. I think Ronald Jones might be a fringe guy. I think that you're going to have Malik Davis, who should be your running back too. You're also going to have Deuce Vaughn. You have Hunter Luepke. And then it's possibly going to be Ronald Jones. So I feel like it's going to be injury, or we get out there and everyone's completely garbage for them to kind of go out there and go get Zeke. And I just don't see it happening. I just don't see them going to get Zeke unless it's worst case scenario. So, you know, think we're lagging, but yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm at when it comes to this whole situation.
Yeah. So yeah, I think everybody summed that up good. So I think basically this is the year of medicine. This is the year we betting on medicine. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too comfortable with that bet. Because let's all think back. Let's just think back. Was Michael Gallup the same when he came back early from his? No. Was Dez the same the year after he hurt his ankle?
He rushed him.
Was Dak the same the year after he came back from his ankle?
Man, he was on fire, man.
Yeah, until the calf. Yeah, the calf messed him up. Yeah.
That came out the gate. That came out the gate.
Y'all talking about throwing. So y'all talking about throwing. Talking about running. Was he athletic?
Well, he stopped doing running though. He stopped running though.
Yeah.
Once he got that injury, he really stopped running.
So he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
He was to the calf.
But we expect Pollard to be the same. And I
why not?
I know the report.
But it's a broken ankle though.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's an ankle though. That's bone though.
This is the year of medicine.
Bone of my bone.
That's not a torn knee.
This is the year of medicine. We putting a big.
So you're worried about you're worried about Pollard more than the depth. See, I'm not worried about Pollard. I think the depth is the biggest question mark. No.
Depth is both. That's my whole point. Is we putting a lot of stock on people that told us that Michael Gallup was gonna be ready, and we both saw him. And we was like, when we saw him. So it's like
that was that ACL. Yeah,
and I'm not even just talking about Pollard. Steele too.
Terrence Steele.
Yeah, it's the bet of medicine.
But they're saying Steele is ready though, going to be ready. We keep on hearing that he's pretty much going to be ready.
The Cowboys ready.
We need to see a camp.
Ready, though.
Well, that's what Boss is saying.
But
they said those other dudes are gonna be ready.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's and I'm hoping they right. Of course, I'm hoping they right. I'm just me thinking back with how many times exactly.
What do you want to, Boss? What do you want to see out of Pollard though? How many reps do you want? How many snaps do you want to see? Because I got a formula for him, regardless whether or not he's healthy or not. But what do you want to see?
Even if he's healthy, I would want to see 15 to 18. And no more.
All right, you and I on the same page. I think we can get that out of him.
When you say snaps or touches?
Touches. I would want 15 touches. Like, but if you
that's responsible. Catch that backfield.
Yeah.
Right. Think about it though. Think about it.
I would want to wean them up. Go ahead, Scott.
Yes. You. Here's the thing. It's a 17-game season, and you hope it's 21 or 20-game season, right? Mm-hmm. So you gotta maintain and manage his touches throughout this 17-game season, and then once you get to the playoffs, hey Pollard, I'm gonna need about 25 every game. That's when you turn it up.
Yeah. And to your point, Scott, and what you said earlier, that's what made running back 2 so more important, and 3. You know?
Yeah. It should be a committee.
Well, let me ask both of y'all this then. How many touches, like how many rushing attempts collectively you want to see?
30.
30. So who getting the other 5? Who getting the other 10? So
Malik Davis
Deuce getting 5.
That's why the Malik Davis. That's where Malik Davis needs to come into play. And he really needs to step his game up.
Malik give you 10. There you go.
I don't know if they're giving Deuce 5 every game. I don't think.
I think this probably going to end up being a game-to-game situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in my opinion, when you run committee, you should absolutely have 3 backs that are involved every game. So, how you divvy those things up, depends on who's on the squad. If it's Rojo probably becomes your kind of power guy. He'll probably get like 10 carries, honestly, if he's your 2. Right. But if Ronald Jones is cut and it's Malik, maybe you see Malik and Deuce kind of split a little bit there. You might see 7 and 5 or 8 and 4.
Okay.
But I think Ronald, because he has the experience of being a running mate. People forget that. We kind of doubt him a bit because he didn't do nothing in KC. But he has 2 years experience, including a Super Bowl season, as a number 2 guy /1 guy on the Super Bowl team. So
900 yards rushing that year.
Yeah.
So
I also think Rico Dowdell is Rico Dowdell. We keep on. I know we keep on seeing him at camp, but if his problem has been his health, but I'm telling you, he has. They like him. He was ahead of Malik Davis, and they like him. That's why he keeps staying on the roster. He has the size, he has that ability, but I know it's some injury. If he can stay healthy, dog, Rico Dowdell, he runs hard. He's a player. I think he's a dark horse. Stay healthy, he can change a lot of things because they wouldn't be keeping him long on the roster.
Let me ask you this: can you trust that though?
I
Can you trust Rico? You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing about Rico.
Yeah.
How do I trust him to be my 3?
But I know that talent though is there. Woo.
It is there, 100%.
I love this.
We were talking about it pre-show though, man. Don't count out Deuce because Deuce was a workhorse. You know what I'm saying at K-State, so he can take on the load. So he can run in between the tackles, outside the tackles. He can do a lot of different things. He can do a lot of similar things that Tony Pollard can do as well. So, you know, Deuce Vaughn is going to be in the mix. It might be something that's more of a slower play throughout the season, but I feel like they definitely got a plan for him.
And
what kind of back do you see him as, Jay Tuck? Because you got a chance to see him live running, right? That's different than watching him on all 22, even in broadcasting.
Tony Pollard? I
Tony,
like that.
You think Tony Pollard like?
That's a good
2.0?
I said it at the Big 12 championship game at AT&T Stadium on Twitter. I was like, Deuce Vaughn's doing his best Tony Pollard impression here at AT&T. Like, he can just do a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he can go for 200. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was literally the guy when it came to Kansas State's offense. So, like, he was the focal point. So, you know, he's built for tough. You know, a lot of people just think at his stature, he'll only be like 5'4", 5'5", but he'll put his nose down. He'll get those extra yards. He's electric out the backfield. You know, I think Brian Broaddus or someone said on one of these shows that he doesn't have the breakaway speed, but it's more than enough. You know what I'm saying? He can get ghost if he gets the opportunity. So he's going to be an electric weapon that I feel like not Dan Quinn, but Mike McCarthy is going to have to utilize in his offense, him and Brian Schottenheimer. So I would think that as far as the running back 3, me personally, I have Pollard, I have Malik Davis, and then I have Deuce right behind him. And then we'll let Hunter and Rojo kind of scrap it out for whatever's left.
Is he the most intriguing guy for training camp to be looking out for?
I feel like he's the most exciting. I feel like he's going to be the most exciting guy to watch.
Yep.
Yeah,
most electric.
Yeah, like in preseason, like he's gonna. You remember how like Turpin was, like when we saw Turpin return them kicks. You know what I'm saying? We were just like, you know what I'm saying? It was Turpin mania. I feel like when we watching these preseason games and doing our live shows that we do, and Deuce is going crazy in that third or fourth quarter, like the fan base is going to gravitate towards him because he just has that type of like
whole bunch of Deuce.
Dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
He needs to get that number 2. He needs to get that number 2. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I like this comment. He said, I guess Saquon calling him a 3-down back doesn't mean anything. I mean, it does mean anything. It means a lot to get somebody that's an elite level running back endorsing Pollard is very good. You know, the concern that I was raising, just to make sure everybody understanding the context, is I'm trying to make sure we're not getting so wee-woo, right, on the medicine.
Right.
You know, that's all. So if Tony Pollard is himself, ain't nobody concerned about Tony Pollard balling, you know. But I don't want them rushing him like they did Gallup. I don't want them tearing them apart early. Because this is what I want to say, and I want to throw this whole thing at the panel. I feel like Mike McCarthy is treated like fathers on Father's Day.
Giving him some draws, some holy draws.
Draws. It be out there.
But hey, you get to a certain age, dog. Them draws and them socks mean something.
You just no, Scott. It don't mean nothing. You know what it mean? You just accepted it, Scott. You just accepted that life is like this.
You look at it like, you know what I did.
You just accepted your plight.
You've accepted.
You've accepted your plight in life.
I got me some good church socks white Father's Day, man.
That's a white team.
We have accepted.
Church socks.
What about a bottle of cologne?
How many of y'all on your day ended up cooking for yourself? Come on now, can I get it?
Let's keep it real.
Come on, how many of y'all got sent out to barbecue for the family on your day? Come on now. That's Mike McCarthy. That's Mike McCarthy. Oh yeah, I said it. Mike McCarthy. Yes, I did say it. Mike McCarthy. Am I lying though? Have I lied one time? No. Mike McCarthy.
You ain't lying.
I'm not. Yeah. All you listen.
You ain't lying at all,
My dad's so cold with it. This is what my dad did. He said, "Son, I went and case studied this thing. I went to every restaurant locally to see what it's like on Mother's Day. And I went to go see it on Father's Day." Ghost town. Crickets. This is my point.
Yeah.
This is my point. So when I look around and I look at how the front office treated Kellen Moore and how they treating Dan Quinn, they are truly treating like Mike McCarthy. Like when he's saying, "I want to run the damn ball." But the biggest question marks right now is the power run game, red zone points, closing out games, and clock control. That's the biggest question mark right now, and the offensive line. I just don't really see how they really put Mike McCarthy first. Because see, when Kellen Moore wanted his key person for his option route system, it was Schultz. They brought him back. You know, and this is not a case for Zeke. I'm just saying, like, just thinking out loud, like, damn, when is Mike McCarthy gonna really get all the groceries he's asking for? Can y'all help me?
He got in the second round.
I think he's getting it.
Wait,
he got Cooks, didn't he? Did he not get Cooks? Did he not get speed?
And he got rid of Kellen Moore.
Speed and Brandon Cooks. He got rid of Kellen Moore, and he got what he wanted. How did he not? That's the biggest thing. Got rid of Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
I think got rid of Kellen Moore.
That's the biggest thing.
That's true.
And you got your tight end.
You remember that movie?
And you got your tight end. Didn't he say he wanted that tight end too?
Do you think
he got a lot? He said he wanted the tight end.
Big. Do you think he wanted that left guard solidify or tight end too?
He wanted that tight end too.
Don't forget he
wanted that tight end because he's the one that went after it.
He wanted that tight end. That was his.
That was his pick.
See,
he wanted my guy last year. Remember, he wanted my guy last year in Trey McBride.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yep. So y'all making my case.
It, so
what do dads do? What do dads do? We get thirsty and we start settling for draws. That's what. Come on now. You need a left guard and you go out there and reach the tight end too. That's draws.
But there's a lot of nuance to that whole situation. But let me use your words. Do you think that McCarthy might be pulling a little wee woo though when he's talking about I want to be, I want to run the ball because he wants to run the ball, but I think he wants to run the ball situationally.
Yeah.
I think what pissed him off last year was Kellen Moore wasn't running the ball when he's supposed to run the damn ball.
Yeah.
And if you look at McCarthy's history and you look at the West Coast in general, when they say run the ball, those also include long handoffs, dumping the ball off to the running back. So we might see some games where it might say 25 rushes and 37 passes, but like 7 of those passes are swing passes to the running back that get you 7-8 yards, which is a long handoff. So I think he really just wants to run the ball better situationally for the most part. I don't think you're going to see him come out here and be a 30, 35, 40 carry type of team. Not with this offensive line and this backfield.
I totally agree with you.
Right.
Because what's been concerning me is, but this is the good news. I also feel like he can handle it. Like, I think Mike McCarthy is one of the best adversity coaches in the league.
I agree. He won the Super Bowl facing the most adversity I think anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
I think from an injury standpoint.
Like, look how he beat us when he was with Green Bay with backup quarterbacks and stuff like that. Look what he did with his first year when he was out here with Andy Dalton. And like, so he built for this. I just want Dad to go and get his steak. You know what I mean? I want Dad to, I want go treat Dad right. Just get him.
But to see, the problem was, boss man Kellen Moore was cooking the steak, and he was like, "Damn, man, I got to cook it myself to get it to taste right." So he had to get rid of Kellen Moore, and I had to bring in all of his own things. I think the Trojan horse last year was Brian Schottenheimer. I think he seen his day coming before it came, and Brian Schottenheimer is going to iron out a lot of things. I do like the fact that somebody brought it up. It could have been on your show, Sky, or someone's show. when they was talking about Mike McCarthy said he would never give up play calling again, right? And he said that when he was in Green Bay. And for him to give up play calling to allow Kellen Moore to call plays, and now he no longer have that Kellen Moore issue, I think that Big Mike, he got a grudge, man. He's going to fight everybody in this NFC East to let people know that my name is my name.
Love it.
Put some respect on it. Yeah, I agree. That's a fantastic point. He's fighting to rebuild his reputation.
All right, so we go jump into these final words, man. I'll kick it off like normal. Obviously, man, I expected a high-level conversation from Sky, Ben, and Tuck being involved, and it exactly was that. I really enjoyed it. Just kind of talking through our dilemmas and kind of seeing how we're going to solve it. I do believe in this team. I do believe that this is one of the best teams. I also more so love the leadership. I love the leadership. I love that we don't have division on the offense anymore. My pastor used to always say, 2 visions is division, So you had a division, you had a vision with Mike McCarthy, you had a vision with Kellen Moore, and yet we still went 12-5 twice. That's amazing. So I'm excited. I really do believe 2007 can put up a fight, but I really do believe that this is one of the best teams. It rivals 2000. I think 2021, 2007, and I think this is our best chance again. So I'm excited, and I can't wait till we take this journey together. Obviously, thank you, Sky. I always love talking ball with you, bro. You very smart guy. I think you very balanced, and I love even on your morning shows, one of the things I love is how you really, really dissect every group. Like, it's a very good educational morning show. It's entertaining, but it's more so educational. Like, if there's any, you really do a good job of the details, man. So I just appreciate you being a guest. And really, you're not a guest, man. You walk in and you walk in the refrigerator. You know how that go. So, but man,
some of that Kool-Aid.
Oh man, sip it, drink it. Yeah, just make sure it's measured.
Measure. That's all. Yeah. I make sure it's measured.
Get the 40 ounces out the fridge. All that.
Let me pour a cup from Big Game too.
Oh yeah,
Get some of this Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But that's my final word, man. I'm excited, and I'm excited just on this journey that we all go take together, even through this year. I think we gonna have more fun than we've ever had as content creators. I think we gonna really enjoy this ride. That's my final word.
I definitely appreciate your final word, boss. Just bouncing off you. It was like the late night hype part in the building. It was good to see you back in the building, Sky. I love what you're doing, like I said, on that morning show. I think the biggest thing, like I said, is Skywalker Steele, baby. You feel me?
Damn!
Like I said, it's Skywalker Steele. You feel me? And you still keep on keeping that good energy, the conciseness, meticulous, how you break things down. Saw it from afar, from way back. So it's good to see you just killing it out there, doing your thing, even when the volume. Just doing amazing things, and I love to see it. You know what I'm saying? From afar. So just keep on destroying it out there, and then, like you said, boss, it is going to be a good ride. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, at least on that defense, and it feels good. I'm excited to see what this offense is going to do. Yep. I'm excited to see the challenge that Mike McCarthy has. I feel like he wants that challenge, and I think it's going to be a really good, solid year. We're going to be excited. It's going to be fun doing these games. And, really, it's just about the playoffs, fellas. The regular season, it ain't really the regular season no more with these Cowboys no more, dog. It's the playoffs. So we took some steps with McCarthy already. Now it's time to take that next step that we've been waiting to take, because there's already been steps taken in his short tenure. So hopefully we can take that next level with this team and make it to what we've all been waiting for, is that Super Bowl. And that's my final word.
That boy good.
Yeah, man, this is fun. And, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of us talk, not just the people on this panel, but, some of the other content creators, we talk a lot just on the phone, just having conversations that can really be live shows, man. So, I love the interactions that we have. I love the continuity and everything, man. Sky, I appreciate you. A lot of people don't know, but I said this 1,000 times. If it wasn't for Sky, Jay Tuck wouldn't be right here. He was the one who was reaching out to me, wanting me to start a show when I had 200 followers on Twitter, right? And he brought me on the show before y'all saw that CeeDee Lamb video. I was on Sky's show for the first time. I was like, man, this content stuff is kind of fun. And started my own channel, and here we are, man. So everyone's doing amazing things in their own lane. And the thing that I love most is that y'all, the viewers, are getting educated. Like you said, we could be a 24-hour, content community with the Cowboys where we're talking around the clock, because you could probably go on right after we end the show and get another great content creator talking about the Cowboys. So I just love it. Keep things going. Be almost 3 weeks away from camp. I know I'm going to be out there. A few others going to be out there camp. It's time to lock and load, y'all, and get ready for this upcoming season. I'm excited. It's my final word.
Yeah, Skywalker Steele, man, thank you so much again for taking time out of your schedule, man, to join us. Salute to you and all you do with the volume, A to Z Sports, in the morning shows, man. Everything is hot. Everything is fantastic. Listen, fantastic show, guys. Thanks for, hey, always staying with us, the fans. And I'm excited to see what happens in this camp. I want to see the camp battles. I want to see what happens at linebacker, what happens at left guard, what happens, at running back. I'm excited to see that stuff. So we're, like Jay Tuck said, roughly 3 weeks away. And y'all just keep it locked right here. Don't forget to hit the like button on all of the channels represented here going out of the building. Okay. If you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to share and comment, man. That's my final word.
Hey, man, can I use your words real quick, Law? I don't like the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys. And the only thing I think that's rivaling that right now is my love for creating right now in this community and seeing all of us, rise in what we're doing. So, I'm more excited. Honestly, I love and excited for everything that's happening with the Cowboys, but no matter what happens with them, I know we're going to continue to grind and continue to shine, as Law would say, and grow in this thing and to see the growth that we all have had, from the LNH days, late night hype days, to before that, to doing shows together. Shout out to people always ask, how you get Skywalker? You like Star Wars? No. Big Game James saw me a long ass time ago and kept calling me Skywalker Young Jedi. And I was like, hey, yo, I'm going to run with that. And I ended up just running with it. And here we are, Skywalker Steele. So, Tuck says there is no, Tuck without Sky. There's literally no Skywalker name without Big Game. So, we all make each other better and not even realize it sometimes. And that's all I want to continue to see within our community, is just continue to keep rising, because I think Law said it the other day, I will rival us against anybody. Now, I'm not even just talking about YouTube creators. I'm talking about mainstream. I will rival us against anybody. As long as we continue to keep doing that in our own lanes and then coming together when we're supposed to, we be all right, man.
No doubt, man. My goodness, man. Sky off the top ropes, man. That Big Game James is that dude, man. Big Game James is the nickname guy, man. He will find a name for you, and it will stick.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he will find it, man. And I really appreciate you, man. And I thank Boss for putting this together, the final word. Shout out to the OC, J Tuck, man. You're not forgotten, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Give me a 75 jersey too, man.
I got you, man. I got you.
You my guy, though. You my guy. I'm only picking at him, man, because J Tuck, he's a guy that's not afraid to reach out. And we got a group chat, me, J Tuck, and a few. And we bounce ideas all day, right? And J Tuck is always that guy that will deliver with things, man. And I really appreciate his insight. But also, my guy Skywalker, he's the same guy, man. If you look across the Skywalker's page and the Cowboys community, you see growth. And it's a difference between what those boys are doing over there to A to Z Sports, man. That's a blueprint with that Sky guy going on, man. Everybody's trying to keep up with him over the A to Z, but they look at him like, man, this dude is just can walk on water with the things that he create and generate, and which is nice. And not just nice for A to Z, but also for the volume. Shout out to Vaughn Lombardi and Scott for doing those shows, because there are different ways that you can move in this circle, but there's difference between movement and then a move. These guys are not just moving, they are a movement, meaning that they gravitating to those who on the outside looking in, saying, man, if the Cowboys community is this strong, I need to get in on this. And we're seeing multiple people hit me up every day, multiple people joining the community every day saying that they want to be in this space. But you got to have dedication, discipline, and consistency. And that's what all of us got right now. We deliver, and I'm telling you, it's great content, not good content. And I love what I'm seeing with this all together for what we do for this space. And I can't wait to see us rock it even more for the 2023 season. And can y'all close your eyes and imagine I'm the stirrer of the Kool-Aid community. Y'all get this together. The day we lift up that Lombardi trophy, the viewership that we gonna get in the parade that we gonna get coming down Dallas, man.
That's gonna be crazy, dog. Bro. We're gonna have to all get together for that. We're gonna have to get together for that.
Shout out to the legend. Shout out to the legend Vach. But as Vach would say, if that happens, I'm going to jail. Shout out to Vach.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go to jail. I'm gonna hang on the outside and get y'all out. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the bells, man. But come on, man, let's go to jail, man. Come on, Cowboy Nation. I can't wait, man. And hey, boss, appreciate you too, man, for putting this all together once again, man. The final word is being echoed throughout the multiverse, man. You've got aliens coming from different galaxies crashing to see the final word, man. The sky turned from orange, now it's gonna be blue again, man. We got some crazy things going down, man, with Cowboy Land. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's get it.
3, 2, 1, drop it. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.
It's time to
go get that bird. Got him.
Another one.
Another one.
But
you didn't play that, boss. There it is.
I got you.
There it is.
Another one.
New video.
Can we check or something? I've been really in the field, let up. Yeah.
Good show, fellas.
I just want to run it up.
I've been really in this field, let up. I love the field lately. I just want to run it up. Don't need no deals, I make a deal. Have to take it to.
Hey, we gotta get that.
If it was up to me,
Super show.
10, 11 person content creator John going together again before camp or after camp.
Perfect.
And with the 17th pick of the 2020 Dallas Cowboys NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select.
Gonna be super dope.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Oh.
DC, you didn't like this show today, man.
Say, Sky?
I will move down. The smart thing would be to move down, but the Cowboys historically don't.
Boss could be a trade down here with you. We got to trade. We got to trade. We got to trade.
I said this is the place to move.
We were just sitting here talking Justin Fields.
I said it.
Oh my God, to the Eagles.
Go hard, but go home. Go home. Go hard, but go home. Go hard, but go home.
New media, yes.
Go hard, but go home.
That Jones hard too. And new media.
New media, baby.
When the circle turn the money,
let's go.
Go hard, but go home.
I see you.
I love Parsons as a rush defensive end, right? If you draft him and you put him on the end, turn him into another DeMarcus Ware. Let him rush the quarterback.
When they said the scouts didn't even see him, like, okay.
He said Michael Parsons scout didn't even see him.
We got the pick.
Yeah, this gotta be Parsons. Like, Parsons the best player available.
Hey, that place was lit. You got a guy with a flag behind you and everything.
Oh, that place was definitely lit.
Litty.
Nah, but like Scott said, man, new media, DC Universe can literally stand with anybody, anywhere, at any time.
Yes. I love the player. I know that a lot of people will say that this is probably
it is no coincidence.
This is about where I'm just
keeping it real. Why Aisha is killing it over there at .com as a rookie.
He can do all of it. He can block.
She knew
He can run routes. He can actually make people miss and open field.
I was thinking about another one of my pastor's thoughts as everybody was talking. He used to always say something else. He say sheep are the one that begets sheep. And I was just listening and how Sky was saying he got his name from Big, and Aisha was like, I got pushed out there by Vach and Okoye. And I look at me, how I was pushed out there and scouted by West. It's the sheep that make sheep. Let's go.
When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home,